Alright, so actually some time ago I actually talked about the concept of having a runway on the water, and why it's actually not that bad of an idea, and why it actually already exists. You know, especially in places like in Japan or something where space is limited, and you know, an airport, it does take up a lot of space. It is definitely a smart idea to build an airport on the water, and that is exactly what they did in Hong Kong. Yes, they actually built an artificial island to build an airport on that one, and I guess it works. And yeah, that's really how you save space. You don't want to know how much space such an airport takes away. Now, of course, you can do that. You know, build an artificial island on the water. Something else I did quite a while ago was actually using a carrier as a runway, an aircraft carrier, which obviously is a boat on the water. And that video we talked a little bit about aircraft carriers. Actually, you can land quite a lot of planes on that one, even though you might damage their landing gear, but that's another story. You know, landings on an aircraft carrier will always be hard, pretty much, but that's a whole nother story. Now, other than that aircraft carrier, there's obviously other ways of bringing a runway onto water. For example, this concept shows that it's pretty much a longer aircraft carrier. It also floats on the water, as you can see. Here's another floating one that is really just floating, just like a boat. But what we have right in front of us for today's video is quite special. This is actually a fixed runway now, and it is not an artificial island. It's somewhat between, right? As you can see, we have these columns that are, well, holding the runway up into the sky, I guess. And well, we have a runway on it, and a little, very, very small apron, and a tower, and a helipad. Yeah, this is a bit of an underwhelming airport, but I mean, actually, it's not that bad of an idea. As you can see, we're spawned into a King Air. Yeah, really, why not? You know, building an artificial island costs a lot of money. Maybe this column thing might work. So yeah, let's see if we can actually operate some planes in the middle of the ocean. Yeah, we're actually quite in the middle of the Atlantic. We have some kind of island next to us. Let's just forget about that one. Let's focus on our own airport. Let's actually fly some planes here. But before that, let's actually get some wind in here. Obviously, in the sea, it's always gonna get windy, so let's go for like 15 or 14 knots. Quite a high wind speed, but that's pretty realistic. Now let's go ahead and land. Alright, let's do our first landing in the Cirrus jet. I mean, that's a small plane, obviously. By the way, this runway is 1,500 meters long, so we'll probably struggle with the big airliner, but that's the fun part about it, isn't it? Oh, there is a hot air balloon here. That's kind of strange in the middle of the ocean. Ooh, that was hard. Yeah, this is a wind that's really not to mess with, but this was quite a successful landing, wasn't it? Alright, you know what, that was not bad. Let's actually try a bigger plane. You know, can you use this plane for actual airliners, right? But let's actually get rid of the wind because it's just annoying at this point. Alright, you know what, let's actually try an airliner now. Let's try the E-145. Can you fly a regional airliner to this, well, fictional runway? It obviously doesn't exist in real life. Honestly, the idea of having a fixed runway in the middle of the ocean is actually not that bad, is it? You know, for emergency landings and stuff. Or also ferry flights. You know, for example, if you have to deliver some kind of Cessna over the Atlantic Ocean, you could just do a fuel stop here at the runway. Alright, but now let's land the ERJ here. 10. Good. I mean, obviously the ERJ is a small jet, so even such a 1,500 meter runway is not an issue for this one. It was actually quite nice. Alright, but let's actually get bigger and bigger. Let's try something like the Max. Alright, let's land the Max 10. You know, maybe Southwest Airlines can also fly to our fictional runway. Let's find out. Ouch, that was not a beautiful landing, but whatever. Yeah, something I love about the 737 is when you like apply the reverse thrusters in midair before touching down, because you can actually do that in the real ones as well. That's gonna have you make a pretty hard landing, but it looks pretty cool, doesn't it? And obviously this is quite a quick stopper. Yeah, even this 1,500 meter runway is not that much of an issue for this one. So far, this is actually not super bad. I mean, honestly, I don't know how much constructing such an airport would cost, but it might just be cheaper than building a whole island, right? Now that worked out really, really well. Let's actually try some bigger jet. Also, I've just realized you can use these airports for events like the COVID-19 crisis, you know, where they have to park planes everywhere, I guess. Or you could use this kind of airport for parking space for the Max, right? And there's just a military frigate boat driving along. Does a boat drive? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. My boat terminology really isn't that good either. 14, 13. Very nice. And we even got some clapping in the background. Isn't that amazing? There we go. And we can just roll on to the apron now that I've prepared as well. Yeah, these hangers are actually a little bit too small, aren't they? But look at this tower. It's quite an interesting one. Oh yeah, I gotta work on this though. Ooh. But yeah, we can now onboard the passengers, right? And they can enjoy their vacation on this beautiful island, I guess, right? So this worked out. Let's try out some bigger planes. You know, we want to make sure that every plane, every airliner can land here in case of an emergency or anything, really. Ooh, I feel bad for the landing gear and the passengers as well. Jesus Christ. Oh, please stop. Maybe. Oh my goodness. I think I've never had that much of a close landing. Jesus Christ. Alright. I mean, it kind of did work, didn't it? Let's try something like, I don't know, the 747. Just go full power and see what happens. Alright, 130 knots. This will be a very easy takeoff. Yeah, this airport is actually quite plane friendly. I mean, there's gonna be some wind sometimes, but you know, there are no obstacles, you know. You just have to make sure to somewhat get down onto the runway and stop, which is also perfectly possible. Yeah, you know, when I think about it, this is quite a dumb idea, actually. Ooh, I'm really not good with landing the Concorde, I'm sorry. Alright, reverse thrusters, Jesus Christ. Stop, please. Oh wow, that was actually not that bad. Alright, this time around we didn't crash the Concorde, that's pretty nice. You know what, that landing was not too bad. Alright, actually it was really not. That was not bad. I mean, yes, this idea is actually not that stupid, especially if you think about what they did in history of aviation. You know, if you look at airports like French frigate shoals, let me just show you that one. It's pretty much this very airport, but it's an artificial island again. Yeah, this is exactly what it looks like. It's pretty interesting, actually. It's in Hawaii, in the Pacific Ocean. Well, it's not even in Hawaii, but it's kind of close, right? And that was in World War II, so it's not really that useful anymore. But I mean, still, it's there, right? So why not? And so, yeah guys, thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow. As always, good night.